Hello and welcome to this crochet tutorial where I will show you how to make this block. This block measures 8 inches across, so we have an 8-inch square, and it has like a medallion flower in the center with complementary colors bordering the block. It is an 8-row block and it goes pretty quickly. If you stay to the end of the video, I showed you what I made with it, using it for a table runner in my dining room. It can also be used to be made for a blanket on your bed, or a lap blanket while watching TV, or just a blanket to help keep you stay warm, or maybe even join many of them together and you can make a scarf. So join me and let's make this crocheted block together. Let's begin. The materials and the tools that we're going to use to make this 8-inch block. I have some burgundy, which is a deeper shade of red. I have some Kelly green, which is a deeper shade of green, and I have some beige. Also, we'll be using a large eye tapestry needle, a pair of scissors, and the crochet hook that I'm using is a 5.50 millimeter. This is an 8-inch block, and the first couple of rows we'll be using quite a bit of red, or the burgundy color. So before we begin, on our skein, I usually like to pull from the center, pull out some so that as we create our stitches, we won't have an issue with our tension. So we're going to begin with a short tail, 2 or 3 inches, and place a slip knot on our hook. And let's chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's go back to our first chain and place a slip knot using it. Here we have a ring. We're going to start row 1. Let's chain 3. This chain 3 does count as our first double crochet. And into our ring, we're going to be placing 15 double crochets. Now, to make a double crochet, place your finger on the loop on your hook, yarn over, go through the center, and be sure to include your tail with this ring. Draw up a loop, yarn over through the first 2 loops on your hook, and yarn over and pull it through the second 2 loops on our hook. We're going to continue on until we have 15 made double crochets and 1 chain 3. Continue till you get to that point, and I'll show you how to finish off this row. So after we have our 15 double crochets and our chain 3, we're going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 to finish this row off. I usually like to pick up 2 parts of my chain, that way I know it won't stretch out later on during our use. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set my work down. Now, I did go over my tail. We do not have to weave it in. Go ahead and cut it close. So moving on to row 2, chain 3. This will count as our double crochet, and then chain 2. This will count as the spacing between our double crochet. Now in our first double crochet right here, double crochet, chain 2. And into our next double crochet, that's of our previous row, double crochet and chain 2. Into our next one, double crochet and chain 2. Continue doing this all the way around till you get to the end, and I'll meet you here and we'll finish off this row. Now before we finish off our row, we don't want to be confused about anything because this looks like we could use that as a stitch. So let's double check our count. Our chain 3 will count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And that's what we're looking for right here. So on our chain 3, count up to the 3rd chain. And like I said before, I pick up 2 parts of that chain and we're going to place a slip stitch there. And that completes row 2. So moving on to row 3, let's chain 1. And right here into this first chain 2 space, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. In our next chain 2 space, double crochet, half double crochet. In case I went a little too fast, a half double crochet, we have 3 loops on our hook, and we'll just pull through all 3. And then a single crochet. Okay, so this right here will create a little cluster that we're looking for in the making of our corners and our center between the corners. Okay, so after we did that, we want to chain 1. Then into our next chain 2 space, we're going to do the same thing. Single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and then we're going to skip that double crochet of the previous row, and in our next chain 2 space, double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet, and chain 1. So you see how it kind of does like a little bubble there. Continue this all the way around. When you are finished at the end of this row, you should have 8 little curves here, and I'll show you how to finish it when we get to the end of the row. So after our last single crochet, we want to chain 1, and then we're going to skip the chain 1 that we did to rise it up, but we're going to slip stitch into the single crochet on the other side of that. Okay, take our scissors, cut it with a short tail, finish it. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We're going to take our red tail right here, and it's going to go under our next color. And our next color will be green. So with a short tail, let's place a slip knot on our hook. And this time we're going to start off with a standing double crochet. And we're going to place that right where we finished in the chain 1 space between the 2 single crochets. So we're going to go ahead and stitch over our tails here. But to make our standing double crochet, place your finger on the loop on your hook, yarn over, go into the chain 1 space, pull up a loop, keep your finger there so you don't lose your loop, yarn over through 2, and then yarn over through 2 again. And that makes our first double crochet. Double crochet 2 more times in the same space. Slide your work over, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets in that same space. This will be our corner. Let me show you on this block here. This is what we have just done. All right. Chain 1, and in between the 2 double crochets, we're going to place 1 single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to skip over all of this. Here's our chain 1. We're going to skip that. Single crochet, half double crochet. Now here's our next set of 2 double crochets next to each other. So you can see we've gone all the way over here. So in between those 2 double crochets, place 1 single crochet and chain 1. Okay, so can you see how we have 1 corner here? We went over 1 scoop here, going over the second one. So that means that this chain 1 space right here is going to be our corner. So in this chain 1 space between the 2 single crochets, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And if you need to slide your work over, don't hesitate to do that. I know I do sometimes. Okay, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. And then chain 1, and we're going to repeat it again. We're going to skip the single, half double, and the double crochet, and in between those 2, single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to skip the chain 1, skip into between the 2 double crochets, place a single crochet, chain 1. Okay, we're going to skip over the double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, and in the chain 1 space, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So I'm going to encourage you to finish the rest of this row. I'll have the instructions right here on the screen, so that'll help you to follow it as well. Alright, so here we are at the end of this row. I've chained one. We're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet. We're going to cut our yarn and finish off this row 4. Okay, we have a few yarn ends we need to weave in. So let's go ahead and pull our work, flip it over. I'm going to show you how I thread a needle. I place it between my fingers, pull it up and fold it and pinch it, and then work the folded yarn through the eye of the needle. I'm going to come over here and weave this in a couple times. As you're making these blocks, I encourage you to keep up with your ends, because it's no fun to have to try and weave them in later when you have a whole bunch of tails. Alright, so we're going to be moving on to our next color, which will be the beige. Now with a short tail, let's place a slip knot on our hook again, and we're going to start off with a standing double crochet in the corner in the chain 2 space. I should have showed you the last time. What I usually do is I bring it down the tail, and then I can do my crocheting over the top of that. So in this corner we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And we'll weave this small part in later. Okay, and in our chain 1 space, we're going to skip over these 3. In the chain 1 space, 2 double crochets. Onto the chain 5, 5 double crochets. And if you find your work gets a little close together, you can always spread it out. Usually when I do these things on camera, it's because I go so slow, it's hard to keep it the way it's supposed to. Okay, so in our chain 1 space, 2 double crochets. And we're going to skip the next 3, and in the chain 2 space we're going to do our corner, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way around the block. So our next will be in the chain 1 space, we'll get 2 double crochets, just like we did here. So 2 in the chain 1 space, 5 in the chain 5 space, 2 in the chain 1 space, and then our corner. Complete that all the way around, and I'll show you how to finish off this row. This is row 5. This is what our block looks like so far. After our last 2 double crochets, we're going to slip stitch into our first double crochet, or the standing double crochet that we started on the row here. We're going to cut our yarn and finish it off. Our next color that we will be using is green. So as before, let's start off with a short tail and place a slip knot on our hook. And this time in the corner, we're going to start off with 3 single crochet in the chain 2 space. Now you notice I brought my tail over from the beige color. So we're going to start off with a standing single crochet. So finger on the loop on your hook, bring up a loop, yarn over through both, and then I'm going to take the tail and bring it across as well. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we're going to start right here in this first stitch. If your last single crochet covered it, you need to pull it back, because on this right side, because I'm right-handed, we need to use this chain right here. So we're going to go across here with 15 single crochets, and use your tail in there as well, so that way you don't have to sew it in. So there's 1. We'll do 1 single crochet in every stitch across. Okay, continue until you get here, and I'll meet you at the end of the 15 single crochets. At the chain 2 in the corner, 3 single crochet, and then we will do this all the way around. 15 single crochet, 3, 15, 3, 15, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. And then at the end of this row, we're going to slip stitch into that first standing single crochet. We're going to cut our yarn, and our next color will begin with red. We have 2 rows left, so we're going to do like this. We're going to do the red, and then we're going to do the green. So in the middle of the 3 single crochet, you got your first one, you got your middle one, and you got this one. So we're going to start right here in the middle one. Bring your tail over. We're going to start with a standing single crochet as we did before. Oops, I grabbed the wrong end. There we go. We're going to place 3 in the same spot. Remember, you can carry your tails. So here I have 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go 17 single crochets across, and then in the middle, number 17 will be on that first. In that middle one, we'll get the 3 single crochet. Then 17, 3, 17, 3. Go ahead and do that, and then we'll have 1 more row to do. At the end, we'll slip stitch, just like we did with this green row, and then the green will be our last color. Looking good, looking good. So our last row is our green row. This is row 8. This goes by pretty quick when you make it, because it's something that you can memorize and do as you go along. Okay, so of our 3 here, we want to go into that center. So here we got our first standing one with the slip stitch in it. So the next one, we'll get our standing single crochet. And we're going to do the same thing this row, except we're going to have 19 in between the 3 at the corner. So we got our 3 in the corner. We're going to go 19 across, 3 in that center one, 19, 3 in the center one, 19, 3 in the center, 19, slip stitch, and that'll complete our block. Go ahead and do that, and I'll show you my completed block and how we're going to join blocks together. Ah, you caught me finishing my block. So okay, so nice. I like this block. All right, so here we have a couple of blocks made already. They look super nice together. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to join my blocks. I'm going to take my needle and thread and I'm going to sew them. There are many different ways that you can join blocks, but for this particular one, I'm just going to join it. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it with a basic whip stitch. So I have some yarn, not a whole lot. The thing is when you do sew with yarn, if it's too long, you can cause it to fray. So I'm going to come to the center of my block here. I'm going to find that middle block. I'm going to bring up. Now you can go through 2 or you can go through 1. I'm going to go through 1. So I came up through that one that we would have placed 3 single crochets on again. I'm going to find it over here on this one, which is right here. I'm going to tie a little square knot. And this can get, the tail piece can get woven in here later. So if you take your block and kind of fold it in half, it's a very simple process. Just picking up the 2, coming through, and then bring it over again. You did those 2, so we're going to go to the next 2. This is what we call a whip stitch. And using that same color, we'll kind of make it so it just blends right in, and you can't really even see it. Okay, so continue that all the way down to the end, and I will show you what I have completed in the making of all these blocks. So here I am showing you, I made a table runner. It goes on and on and on, and at the end I have little tassels. Now if you make enough of these blocks, you can make a blanket out of it. So I hope that you find this block useful in making of any time of year. The colors that I have chosen are for Christmas, but can be done at any time. This particular one, if you can see, might show up, it has glitter in the beige, a little gold glitter. I don't know. I can't see it in the camera. And then it has just a regular little tassel at the end. So I hope you enjoyed this crochet tutorial on how to make this particular block. As I've commented when showing you the tablecloth, if you change the colors around, it could be pretty much any time of year. I really like this block. It's an 8-row block. Comes out to be about 8 inches. So, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a very happy holiday. And until next time, bye-bye.